Hello, are you out there? It's Mark with HFD, Proof of Life video. That's right, I've been involved in a move here, and I'm now in what I'm going to call the tower room. We have a three-story apartment here in Berkeley, California, where the family just moved to. It's very nice. Everyone has a bedroom. It's a big old house. However, there was no place for my computer office, so now I'm in a nicely finished storage space on the third floor. We're going to see how hot and how cold it gets up here. But it is clean. I got like a little rug and stuff. The lighting's reasonable, right? I got some lights here. And this may... I've noticed that I get a little out of sync with this headset mic. Now, I usually have a Yeti mic, right? Because I don't usually actually talk through this thing. It's usually flipped up. So little synchronous issues, probably a little boomy. You don't want to do that. It's not good. People don't like that. So we're just going to give it a shot, folks. Here we go. Am I a bad person for quitting a group with a baby DM? Oh my gosh. This is not a baby DM question. This is an are you bad question? Yeah, I can definitely answer that for you. By the time we get through this, you'll know if you're a bad person or not. Yeah. That's what we do here. r/homebrew fever dreams. If you have a story or a question or anything about role playing, put it on there and I'll try and get a story for you. But I'm stealing this from r/D&D. What are you gonna do? I really tried. I wanted to support them as they worked on their DMing, but this last session made me realize I needed to step away. We are all friends and have been playing D&D intermittently for the last 10-ish years. That is a very long time for a group to be sustained. I love it. It also tells me, though, you folks are not kids, not anymore. You might have been kids when you started, but if it's been like 10 years, yeah, you're probably on your mid-20s now. And yeah, okay, we'll keep going. I can handle new DMs asking questions, reading from the module, and keeping things simple. What I couldn't handle was them not reading/preparing for the module in advance and pausing for 1 to 2 minutes to read every time a question was asked so they can find the answer in the book. And if that answer isn't there, it's ignored. E.g., NPC sitting on a chair of mushrooms, Druid asks for one to keep. DM reads for a minute, shrugs, and moves on. Okay, that is terrible. That sucks. That's so odd to me because you're saying that baby DM is new to DMing, but not. It's implied they're not new to role playing. So are they under the impression that their other DMs they've had have answers to in the book to every question ever? They're like, oh, there must be a rule for whether the giant mushrooms I've described in this chamber can be harvested by a druid? I guess. At the very least, though, you just give a yes or no answer. You can just do that sometimes as the DM and just be like, "No, there's no way for you to harvest the spores. And if you just pluck one of the mushrooms, it'll just kill it and die. It'd be like breaking a cucumber in half. Sorry, although I guess a cucumber would have seeds in it, so it's like breaking a rat in half. Yeah. So, role play, scene setting, and storytelling doesn't exist in these games. D NPCs don't have names and are referred to as their race. Oh my gosh, I think you mean species or ancestral background there. Let it slide this time. This one time. Okay. That's what happens when you live in Berkeley for too long. You just. Their only purpose is as a means to an end, e.g., Elfman. Guarding a cave he has been forced to kill everyone who comes near. PC, I want to see if I can get in without a fight. DM, okay, roll persuasion. One of four of us roll above a 14. Okay, so you avoid the fight. We get the gold and level up. Yay. That, there's a couple of things going on there. Your DM, baby DM, doesn't seem to understand the skill mechanic. In general, a 14 against someone who is a guard, whose job it is. This isn't like a general question of being like you meet an elf on the street of a town and you're like, hey, could you give us could you direct us to the nearest mage tower? Right? That's like you almost don't even need a persuasion, but in general you could just set the DC as like a flat 10 or something. It's like, yeah, most likely this will work. Then a 14 persuasion would get that to happen. But a guard whose job it is to control who comes and goes past, a 14 probably wouldn't do it. And secondly, your baby DM doesn't understand that you don't have everyone make a skill roll that's in the party. Why would you be like, all four of you try and persuade this guy? That's not how conversations with guards usually work, or shop owners. Usually, four friends don't walk up to the store counter and all start babbling at the guy behind the counter. One person makes a purchase in general. So it, it it's weird to me because baby DM has seen other people DM. I'm assuming, and just doesn't clearly, when someone goes to pick a lock, the DM doesn't ask the entire party to make a lockpick skill check. That's the person who's doing the thing. So there's a lot of missing parts, and I'm going to summarize right now, and that is to say that baby DM has not internalized or processed the job they've seen their DMs do for them. It's never occurred to them. They've never analyzed what it is to be a DM. As though you are a child in the back seat of a car, and then you say, "Well, I want to drive the car today, Mom." And your mom just goes, "You you think you could do that? You can't. You've never been trained to drive the car." That's exactly what it's like. Except that you guys are all adults, and baby DM has never learned how to drive a car. They just have watched their mom just do this. It's like Maggie in The Simpsons, right? Just like with her little baby steering wheel honking the horn like her mom does. She thinks she's driving, but it's just like, intellectually, you should be able to know when you know something and you don't know something as an adult. Mm, mm. Don't get me wrong. I say a lot of things that I don't know about off the top of my head, but that's kind of like my little unpaid job I do here on YouTube, is just spouting off whatever, pretending I know a lot of shit about stuff. And a lot of times I'm wrong. But if you're going to sit down with your friends for like 4 hours on a Saturday and then like run this game for them for months on end, at some point you got to do a little self-reflection and realize what you get and what you don't get. Oof. Basically, every game is a skeleton of a D&D game with no collaborative storytelling, and the only goal being to get the treasure with some dice rolls in between. Ooh, that is so fascinating. I would wonder if over the 10ish years you guys have been role playing together, treasure has been the primary motivation for the group in general. The primary carrot that your other DMs have led the group by is like, hey, you guys want to get this golden +2 axe, and everyone's like, holy shit, yeah, we want that mission. But like, where is Baby DM getting these ideas from? Is Baby DM, have they spent the last 10 years motivated by, you got 92 gold, 136 silver, and what is that? 87 copper pieces? Ooh, let me get that all written down. And they're like, oh, I got the three types of coins. Oh my gosh. This was so fun. Let's do another adventure. Eh, And I guess I am mocking. I'm mocking, but sure, I'm not mocking. Surely Baby DM wasn't motivated by getting all the coin numbers every time at the end of every session, right? That's not what they. It's like, I say that because that's like a 15-second process that comes at the end of a 4-hour play session. Is that really what Baby DM was motivated by and was waiting for every Saturday? Was to get those three magical coin numbers? What? They didn't. What did they enjoy about the rest of the game? Because if you're going to step up to the DM plate, you should be like, man, I'm going to bring to life. And I've had so much fun doing these stories and having these imaginations and acting out my character and seeing my friends act out their characters and role playing and doing dramatics with them. I'm going to bring that to life. But the way you're describing this cardboard character of Baby DM is they're just like, yeah, you got 116 gold. Did you guys, was that fun? Okay, that's brutal. DM even allows one player to break the rules every single session. Some examples, we all used point buy while he had rolled stats. Okay. 10, 14, 15, 16, 16, 18 to level 2. When I questioned this, he got flustered and said he doesn't know how that happened. This no big deal. Just be like, hey man, we did point buy. Like, but as a player, you can just say to another player, you don't even need to bring the just like, did you do point buy? Your stats are higher than all of ours. How did you do that? And then that person should rework their character sheet. That's fair. Among friends who've known each other and you've been gaming together for 10 years, that's hella fair. Okay. Then pulled up another character with slightly lower rolled stats and hoped nobody noticed. I did. But wait, is that a player that did that? Or is that the DM did that? Okay. He also pre-rolled his dice, and in a game with maybe this is the cheating player. And in a game with maybe 10 D20 rolls, he managed 4 nat 20s and no rolls below a 10. This isn't fun for these crits, one-hit kills, most of the small monsters we fight before the rest of us have a turn in battle, because his initial roll was also the highest. The DM takes it at his word and doesn't scale the monsters on. In response, just laughs and says, wow, PC is really taking care of everything. Okay. I almost feel like ChatGPT wrote this story here. This question. Because who's the cheating player? One of your friends that you've been role-playing with for 10 years and you never noticed they cheated before? This person who is your at least serious long-term online acquaintance thinks that cheating's okay in your group? Wants to cheat in your group? Like, I can understand you walk into some drop-in game at a table in a game shop and you've never been with these people before and there's some weird-ass person who wants to cheat at role-playing there. But, like, it's this person's like, oh, finally, after 9 years, I get to cheat my friends. Yes, I've been waiting for Baby DM this whole time. They're so soft. Their brain is so squishy. It's like this part up here. The plates haven't fused yet, and I can just poke my finger in there, and and then I can cheat by pre-rolling my dice. What? That's not a Baby DM problem. That's the people you're role-playing with problem. That person probably shouldn't be your table for the long term, right? Okay. That's rough. This isn't the DM's first or second game. They have DM'd 5+ times, and it goes exactly the same every time. We, including our old DM, offered feedback after sessions, the biggest one being to read and prepare better for the module so things go smoother. In prep for this last session, the DM told us they will see how this goes short notice. But prepping? Well, I've only got a week to prep. Okay. That's usually all any DM has to prep. Wow. This is tough. I'm just saying, I feel like your old DM should be able to mentor this baby DM between sessions and just be like, hey, let's look at this chapter of the module deal. Let's break it down real quick. Maybe do some little one-on-one role-play scenario things where it's like, okay, I'm going to take my character. Let's pretend they need to get their armor repaired at a blacksmith. They're in the middle of a forest now. All right, baby DM, go. Set the scene. And now we're just going to do the simple verbal role-play where my character gets from the forest to a town you're going to find in the module or invent intellectually. You're going to then come up with the blacksmith, and you're going to be able to describe them. And if I ask what's their name, you'll be able to give it to me, and we'll do a little banter. We'll work on our dialogue, what skill rolls. Like that's a simple, like maybe 20, 30-minute scenario you could just run to help tutor and mentor this person. Or at the very least, again, you just directed some YouTube videos of like people actually role-playing or how to be a DM. It seems like this person's not really interested in DMing, and yet somehow they're the DM. You got a 10-year group. I understand your old DM not wanting to be the DM the whole time, not wanting to be the forever DM, but sounds like your group is hosed unless someone else steps up to the plate. The person who did isn't ready to DM. That's not unfair. That's not mean to say. If they haven't prepared, like literally, see how much preparing I can do on such short notice. To them, that's an affront. That's a burden they don't want to take on. They're not sure if they can take it on. Hey, hombre, it doesn't sound like you should be the DM. Just okay. We had planned this session 3 weeks ago. They say they skimmed the module for the first time last night before bed. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a good start. Let's see what happens. Skimming modules can work. Afterwards, I sent a message to each person privately, kindly saying thanks, but I'm out. The cheating player removed himself from every group chat he and I were in together, and the DM is clearly hurt. Oh. Okay, I'm just going to pause you right there because you mentioned this cheater player, and there's clearly some drama because you must have called cheater out. Did you say you called cheater out? Because you did. You didn't say you did. Yes, I questioned this, and then he got flustered. Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, there's some mojo going on there. Because the other player, like, you could have been like, hey guys, I got to move on from the group. And I was, oh, okay, it's been great. 10-ish years. See you later. See you on the next one. Have fun role playing. Whatever happens in your life. Yeah. But this person's like, man, I never want to speak to this person again. Block on all social medias because they called me out for cheating. That sounds like a whole nother question. But cheaters, you don't want them around. Yeah. And is the DM hurt? Geez, are they hurt? Why? Just be like, hey, other stuff's come up in my life. You don't have to make it personal. You don't have to be like, hey, I've written you a small 3-page essay about why you're a bad DM and I can no longer tolerate you. That would be kind of mean. It might be slightly helpful, but why are they hurt? Why would they be hurt? You're hiding how you did it. Like obviously there's details you're not sprinkling in here. Because it sounds like there's a lot more drama going on. But okay, I just don't have the time for things that don't fulfill me anymore. Yes, role playing takes up a huge chunk of time. Even if you only play once a month, it's 4 hours on a Saturday once a month is still an entire evening. It's a half a day with drive time and prep. So, yeah, I don't blame you for not wanting to play crappy role play. That makes a lot of sense. I know the kindest thing to do would be to keep playing so that DM can get better, get more and more practice. But at what point would you cut your losses? At the point I'm not enjoying my hours spent on my Saturday playing D&D. That is exactly the point. Because if the banter and hanging out with your friends, like in person or online, whatever, is enjoyable enough, right? Like if you're in person, you're eating popcorn and chips and sitting around with your friends, just having a good time anyway, and that's cool with you. Then you hang out with your friends, whether or not the game is a really good one. Or you're online and you're just like, the game's boring as hell, but you know what? I'm going to play some solitaire on my computer while listening in, right? While the game's going on. You're just passing the time. Maybe maybe it's not a good game, but it's still tolerable to you. So the definitive answer to your question is you cut your losses when it's not enjoyable. And no one's paying you. Don't feel bad about it. And it is not your job to have DM become better. Sounds like there's some major structural issues, and I'll be blunt, a new DM is better off. It's advisable for new DMs to DM for newer players. Don't get me wrong, having a seasoned or experienced person there who knows the game is like a side reference to them being like, no, that's not how AC works. It's this. So that should be a saving throw, not a skill throw. That kind of stuff. That's really hard for all new people to get. But aside from maybe roping in one experienced players, new DMs and new players should work together. Or let a new person step in to DM who's new to DMing but has been role playing for a while, has a good idea, and they may hit it out of the ballpark, or they may be adequate. But this person really seems like they're lacking the chops if they're not even coming up with names for the NPC. Yeah. If they're just giving you the treasure based on a persuasion roll instead of like having the characters interface with the dungeon the NPCs, the creatures inside, skipping all the combats, because they clearly don't understand what the fun of the game is at that point. If they think rolling a 14 on a persuasion check and then getting the reward is why everyone is at the table with them, they're playing a different game than you. Like for sounds like for 10 years they've just been playing a completely different it, there ain't nothing there, folks. There this person. Oh, wow, that's so mean, but it's so true. Holy cows. All right, that's it. Good, I just talked for 20 minutes. Wait, what was your initial question? Hold on. Am I a bad person for quitting? No, you're not a bad person. When it's not fun for you, you shouldn't do it. Probably for anything in life that isn't an obligation. Yeah, it's because it's not an obligation. If you keep doing something in your life that you really don't like, then it's an obligation. It becomes an obligation. Yeah, I don't know what I'm saying, but interesting. Well, if you watch, thank you so much. Take care.